Hi, I'm ReveloGM, and it's December. We are fast approaching Christmas, and that got me thinking about ways of creating holidays and festivals in our own worlds and stories. Winter's Crest is right there as a critical role equivalent of a winter-themed holiday, and then Harvest Close early in Campaign 2 is a good example of a more localised harvest autumnal sort of festival, and I'm sure there's many more out there, but those are the two that are immediately the most familiar to me just recalling in this moment. I have never really used any of these, as I've never done any long-form campaigns in which it would kind of come up, and I've never run a scenario myself taking place in such an event. But now, in my infinite wisdom, I'm running 2 long-form campaigns. Whoops! So it seemed like a fun time to start brainstorming such ideas. So that's what we're doing today. Obviously, based on what I've just said, I've no experience at this. I'm not an expert. This is not a tried and tested method, but this is how I've been putting together ideas for holidays in my TTRPG games. We're going to be going pretty simple with this. I have no little acronym or clever phrase, not yet anyway. We're just going to be using the 5 W's. Why fix it? If you don't know what the 5 W's are, or need a little English refresher, they are who, what, where, when, and why. Though not in that order particularly today. We're going to start off with when. For an event, this is naturally pretty important. The date is usually directly associated with the event. Whether the date itself is arbitrary or not, of course, is another matter entirely. The 4th of July is celebrated on the 4th of July, or July 4th, I suppose, to commemorate the adoption of the Declaration of Independence on that date in 1776. VE Day is celebrated on May 8th, as this is the day in 1945 that the Allies accepted the unconditional surrender of Germany, ending World War II in Europe. Different kind of celebration, of course, but you get the idea. Thanksgiving, on the other hand, is celebrated on the 4th Tuesday in November rather than a specific date, and Easter always falls on the first Sunday after the first full moon that follows the spring equinox, placing it between March 22nd and April 25th, which is, to be fair, a pretty wild way of calculating a date. Christmas is on the 25th of December for multiple reasons, some guesswork relating to conception and also to align with pre-existing pagan festivals. So as we can see, a festival can fall on a specific date or a few dates that vary depending on some kind of calculation. It's probably easiest to have your events happen on specific dates for the ease of writing them down and putting them in calendars, but the choice is yours. Of course, if you don't have a specific calendar in your setting, then this matters even less, and we just need to focus on the why of this date. And while on why haven't you subscribed yet? Sorry, I'm assuming, but let's be fair, most people haven't, and it'd be awesome if you did. We're nearly at 2026, and I want to see how close we can get to 500 subs by then. So, back to the actual important why. Is it a pagan festival? Some other religious celebration perhaps? Or is it a victory in a war or some key battle that took place at this location? We'll get to that in a bit. Is it perhaps a memorial for some important figure in history of this city or of the kingdom? Or a birthday of a monarch? Perhaps it's a seasonal holiday. Harvests are a classic, but maybe your world has a more specific event, some kind of eclipse or an aurora perhaps. Maybe the migration of a important local bird species. Is it celebrated yearly, or is it more so once every decade, or even once a century? Or is it a one-off festival, a coronation, the actual end of a war, not the anniversary of one, or some grand opening or reopening of some venue, or a distraction to lift spirits and help people forget about other less positive current events? Now, at the same time as thinking of the why, you may well also want to think about the where. Pretty much no celebration is worldwide, even in today's age of connectivity, let alone in a fantasy setting, though of course these can apply beyond that as well. So you have to think about the widespreadness of this celebration. Is that a word? Widespreadness? You get what I mean. If it is a local lord's celebration or commemoration of the founding of a town or of an important battle, it's probably quite local. The anniversary of the end of a war is more likely to be a national kind of thing, and then seasonal holidays may span continents. Knowing how far and wide the traditions spread will help you in determining if your player characters will have any idea about these festivals ahead of time, and if you play long enough, the players will come across them a year later, in another place. A great way to make the world feel connected, but also show you the passage of time. Okay, so next up, what does the festival need? The what? How do we differentiate this festival from others? Will there be games, food, drinks? All of those are pretty standard, to be fair. Is there going to be a unique cocktail maybe, made with local ingredients from the area? Maybe there's a delicacy only available in this region of the land, which is often available just to nobles, but more freely sold during this festival, attracting both locals and those from neighbouring areas alike. Do the local guard put on marches or plays, or play songs in a band or something like that? Or maybe a little bit more unique, maybe they have, I don't know, an acrobatics troupe or something. Are there traditional elements like services or ceremonies that take place? And are there special guests? Are there perhaps some kind of arena matches with fights like the Mighty Nine take part in during Harvest's Close? Or some other kind of competition that's a little more light-hearted? Maybe a pie-eating battle, or arm wrestling, some kind of luck-based game anyone can take part in, or a mix of them all. The variety of events can help clue in your players as to what kind of experience this is, without them directly even knowing. Lots of games and food and drink appear as signs of revelry, entertainment and fun. A light-hearted celebration, probably. People wearing dark clothes, walking en masse to the site of some battle, to lay flowers, spending time in silence, that's clearly more of a sombre environment. You could maybe even mix the both together. People can pay their respects thoughtfully in the morning, and then later in the evening they have a big celebration to celebrate the lives of those who came before and remember them fondly. Or maybe the festival is cheery for children but holds a different meaning for the adults, a celebration of the end of harvest, but now the harsh winter begins. You could even use a festival to lull your PCs into a false sense of security. A cheery festival at day becomes a time of sacrifice at night. It makes me think a little bit of in Avatar: The Last Airbender, where we have their Avatar Day celebration, which looks all nice and positive at first, and then they start setting fire to them. And finally, we have The Who. Not the band. The Who can be irrelevant depending on the festival, I expect, but can also be very important for incorporating such an event into a larger plot. Not to keep going on about it, but Harvest's Close Festival from Critical Role's second campaign comes to mind here as the show is coming out now. I'll keep the exact reasons as to why to myself, but if you watched that far, I do expect you know which part I'm talking about. But yeah, who is funding the event? Are there ulterior motives here? In Honor Among Thieves, Forge, who is now Lord Neverwinter, starts the High Sun Games again as a cover for Safina's plan to, well, do Red Wizard things. Is this celebration going to be honest, or is it a distraction? Or has it been co-opted by someone to directly or indirectly assist with some other scheme? Maybe it initially was something good and positive, but the reason it's been brought back, or the reason that it is now the way it is because of something else. This in turn does return us back to the why again, a second, more secretive why that you maybe don't always need to consider. Not the why of the event, because, you know, that's pretty obvious, but why does it take this form? Naturally, yeah, this isn't something we have to consider at all, depending on if the event serves as purely downtime, or world building, or a bit of fun, or if it's more of a plot hook, though of course it can be one and then become the other too. You could even do something with the same event maybe, where the party experiences it once properly, and then the next year, or however long it is, somewhere else, only something feels off. And then they have more of a reason to suspect things because they have already experienced it once themselves. And that's all I really have to say about this for now. Like I said at the start, this is a lot of my initial thoughts and early ramblings on creating such things. I may do another video next year if I adapt or refine my method perhaps. We'll have to see. Have you any ways that you use for creating holidays and festivals in your worlds? Let me know down in the comments below. But that's going to be all for this video. If you made it this far, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.